O Ram, in the autumn the trees shed their leaves. In springtime the same trees sprout new leaves, which are surely within the trees themselves. Even so this creation exists all the time within the absolute consciousness. Yeah, I think I like the idea. I think I prefer the word becoming to creation. There's a becoming that is going on all the time, and we could say that this becoming, this creation, this becoming is going on within the absolute consciousness. It's non-different from it. It is not seen, even as the liquidity that exists in gold is not always evident. If the creator of one epoch attains liberation, and if the creator in the next epoch projects the new universe from his memory, even that memory is none other than the infinite consciousness. So it's saying that everything is essentially non-different. It's the one absolute consciousness, and yet there's stuff going on within that consciousness, what's called here creation, and which I think I'll call becoming from now on. It's like the dream, isn't it? You can imagine a dream with all sorts of things going on in it, and yet you could say, we call it the one thing, don't we? We call it a dream. And it'd be quite hard for us to argue. Now let's just say there's a ball in the dream and there's a duck. Can we say that both the ball and the duck are independent entities? Can we say they're made up of different things? Somehow we feel that both the ball and the duck are made up of, we could call it dream stuff. But what's dream stuff? It's nothing at all, is it? But certainly it can be a very real experience at the time. And in the same way, the objects of what we call the phenomenal world are ultimately, we could say they're ultimately of the same stuff, which is really the working hypothesis of physics, isn't it? The idea that there is some kind of fundamental underlying structure, or everything is made up of the same thing, whether it's quarks or some other kind of subatomic particle. There's the assumption that somehow, there's a conviction even, that somehow there's some kind of homogeneous building block to everything. It's curious, isn't it, that the scientists assume that, and that's what drives their research. Rama asked, Lord, how is it that the king and also the citizens experience the same objective facts? So this is a little tail end to the story of Leela, who saw her husband in different incarnations, and in each incarnation he had the same retinue of ministers and people around him. The sister replied, that is because the intelligence of all the jivas is based upon the one infinite consciousness, O Rama. The citizens too thought that he was their king. Thought vibrations are natural and inherent in the infinite consciousness, and they are not motivated. Even as it is natural for a diamond to sparkle, the king's intelligence thinks, I am King Vidurata, and so do all the beings of the universe. If one's intelligence is established in this truth concerning the infinite consciousness, it reaches the supreme state of liberation. So the king thought he was King Vidurata, and everybody else thought the same, because they're all based on the one infinite consciousness. And Rama asked, why did the king and also the citizens experience the same objective facts, since it seemed to be all to do with the king's jiva being reincarnated? It's all to do with what we call consensus reality, and I'm not too sure it is based upon the one infinite consciousness. Well, obviously that's an aspect, but it takes on, the cognitive process kicks in, and within that there are all sorts of cultural norms. So that, I think, rather than say it's objective, I think we can say there's some kind of consensus, because different cultures will agree to different things and be in conflict about different things. But I suppose the fact that even a small group of people acknowledge the same reality, well, it's put down here to the infinite consciousness, so let's just leave it at that. So we need to establish that the truth concerning the infinite consciousness, which is that everything is based upon it, everything is a manifestation of it. And to realise this depends upon one's own intensity of self-effort. A man is pulled in two directions, towards the realisation of Brahman, the Absolute, and towards the ignorant acceptance of the reality of the world. This is a 180-degree shift here. Your attention is either focused outwards, or the attention is directed back on itself to exactly 180 degrees. So these two directions, the attention is constantly being pulled. And this is where effort comes in. This is the effort or behaviour of the practitioner, the spiritual practitioner. That which he strives to realise with great intensity wins. Once he overcomes ignorance, the deluded vision of the unreal is forever dispelled. It can be dispelled temporarily, I guess, but you have to keep making this effort of turning the attention back on itself, changing the angle of vision, as it said earlier, and by persistent practice of doing so. This is the work. This is spirituality.